I don't think that people really appreciate their parents until they get older. I mean, at least I can say that about myself, and I think it's true of, here in America.
Yeah, I was gonna say in this culture anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that.
Yeah, looking back, I think I only really came to, you know, see all the sacrifices my parents made and appreciate those sacrifices when I went away to college.
Mm-hmm. That's
I'm,
probably when I started appreciating my parents too.
yeah, I mean, now looking back, I can see that my dad, he was always trying to teach me things, and at the time, I couldn't even tell that it was going on. But, now I see there's method to his madness. Like,
Like, what's an example?
all right, well, for example, like on Saturdays, what I like to do was probably what any, little boy used to do. I like to go out, play with my friends, play some baseball or some football or, just hang out with my friends. Well, my
Right.
dad, on the other hand, he was really strict and he ran a tight ship. I'm telling you. I mean, I think there was this unspoken motto that he had, which was my way or the highway. So come
Can see
Saturday
that.
morning, it was time to do some work. And so it was time to spoil the fun I wanted to have.
You're right.
So he'd say something like, "Hey, today we have to change the oil on the car. I'll show you how to do it." And I'd be
Oh
thinking,
boy.
yeah, I'd be thinking, "Oh, that sounds like fun." you know? Or like another time he'd say, "Okay, we have to change the brakes today, and I think that I'll show you how to do it this time, and you can do it next time." And I'm sitting there. I must be 11 years old. I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to remember how to do this. I'm not going to retain any of it. But sure
Right.
enough, he showed me how to do it, and now looking back, I can see that it was probably something that he wanted to make sure I knew how to do as I grew older, but I didn't really
Sure.
pay attention. I couldn't appreciate it at the time.
Yeah, my dad taught me some things about the car, not as detailed as changing the brakes or changing the oil, but he taught me basics like just checking my fluids, like power steering fluid, um, brake fluid, the oil. At the time, I would dread him teaching me. I wouldn't retain it, I would forget. So he would constantly be teaching me, and I knew it would be this long-winded lecture when I would be wanting just to get in the car and leave, go meet my friends.
Yeah, sure.
But now I appreciate that he taught me how to check my fluids, actually. It's a useful thing to know.
Yeah, there were some things that my father would teach me, like when I was younger, and I did appreciate it. And I mean, like, the one thing that stands out in my mind is learning how to cook. You know, my dad was really good about allowing us to be in the kitchen while he was cooking, because my dad's an amazing cook. And,
Yeah, he is.
when we were growing up, I remember like all my friends and my mom's side of the family, it was only the women who cooked. But
Uh-huh.
from my dad's side of the family, the men totally cooked. I mean, I just said my dad was a great cook. He learned from his father, my grandfather, who was a great cook. My grandfather's brother, my great uncle, he
Hmm.
was a great cook. So it really wasn't a gender specific trait in my family. And I think as a result, uh, we weren't afraid to be in the kitchen, and my father allowed us to. So, and my dad was always good about teaching me how to cook. I mean, I remember this one time I was a little kid. I must have been 6 years old. I wake up on a Sunday morning and I go downstairs and I say, "Hey, Dad, can you make me French toast for breakfast?" And I remember him saying something like, "Okay, yeah, I'll make it for you. I'll teach you how to make it, and then the next time you make it for me."
That's
Yeah,
great.
so I was thinking, this is great. I'm going to be able to make French toast for myself whenever I want. And then, also, I wanted to try and impress my dad, so I wanted to make it for him too.
Uh-huh.
So, that was something, it was a bonding experience with my father and I as well.
Hi, this is Kristen Dodds.
And this is Joe Weiss, and we just wanted to let you know that this material is copyrighted in the year 2008 by Learn Real English LLC. www.learnrealenglish.com www.thepointofview.com. Hello, and welcome to the Point of View Stories for Parents. Today we are going to hear 4 different versions of the same story. Each version's going to have a different time for the story, or it will have a different person telling the story. Okay, let's start now. Freddy the Frog lives in the country of Frogland. His father runs a tight ship. He makes Freddy practice jumping 10 hours every day. Freddy is always tired, so he cannot pay attention in school. Sometimes he cannot even tell what day it is. I'm telling you, I just want to chase flies with my friends, Freddy says to his dad. Then his dad says, "It's my way or the highway." His dad always tells him that he will be a jumping champion. Sure enough, when he is 18 years old, he becomes the jumping champion of his country. Now Freddy is 55 years old. He thinks about his dad a lot. Now he knows that there is method to his dad's madness. Okay, so that's the end of the story being told as if it is happening right now. Next, let's hear the story as if it happened last year. Here we go. Last year, Freddy the Frog lived in the country of Frogland. When he was growing up, his father ran a tight ship. He made Freddy practice jumping 10 hours every day. Freddy was always tired, so he could not pay attention in school. Sometimes he couldn't even tell what day it was. I'm telling you, I just want to chase flies with my friends, Freddy said to his dad. Then his dad said, "It's my way or the highway." His dad always told him that he would be a jumping champion. Sure enough, when he was 18 years old, he became the jumping champion of his country. Freddy was 55 years old. He thought about his dad a lot. Then he knew that there was method to his dad's madness. Okay, so that is the story as if it happened last year. It has already happened. Now let's hear the story as if it is happening in the future. So we will think of the story happening next year. Here we go. Next year, Freddy the Frog will live in the country of Frogland. His father is gonna run a tight ship. He'll make Freddy practice jumping 10 hours every day. Freddy'll always be tired, so he will not be able to pay attention in school. Sometimes he won't be able to even tell what day it is. I'm telling you, I just want to chase flies with my friends, Freddy'll say to his dad. Then his dad'll say, "It's my way or the highway." His dad is always going to tell him that he will be a jumping champion. Sure enough, when he is 18 years old, he will become the jumping champion of his country. When Freddy is 55 years old, he'll think about his dad a lot. He'll know that there is method to his dad's madness. Okay, so that's the end of this version of the story, where the events that are taking place take place next year. Now let's hear the story from Freddy's point of view.
So in this version, Freddy is actually going to be telling the story. So here he goes. I lived in the country of Frogland. When I was growing up, my father ran a tight ship. He made me practice jumping 10 hours every day. I was always tired, so I could not pay attention in school. Sometimes I couldn't even tell what day it was. I'm telling you, I just want to chase flies with my friends, I said to my dad. Then my dad said, "It's my way or the highway." My dad always told me that I would be a jumping champion. Sure enough, when I was 18 years old, I became the jumping champion of my country. I was 55 years old. I thought about my dad a lot. Then I knew that there was method to my dad's madness. Alright, so now we have finished the point of view stories for the lesson Parents. Now, please go back and listen to each version of the story again. Then, when you feel like you understand the stories, try to tell each story yourself. Try your best and don't be upset if you're having any trouble. Just relax and listen to the story again.